All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to some Friday Eve fun here. Heart of the Order, Episode 4. Yours truly, Unhappy Gilmore, joined by Chris Sackmaster and Lou, the champ Dominguez down there in Miami.
The champ is here.
The champ is here. I'm surprised you even have a shirt on, to be honest with you. I'm pleasantly surprised.
He's asking for you to take it off. I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
Oh, man.
I'll leave that to Ashley. But no, we haven't been able to do this for a little while with all the stuff going on. Chris, I know you did a bunch of traveling. Lou, obviously, we're going to kick it to you here in a minute to just, let you revel in your sunshine. And then for me, it's been mostly about, Grady graduating, Grady turning 18, Grady coming to work with me and getting prepared for his departure in a couple of months. So I'm not going to beat around the bush too much, Lou. As a sports fan, all three of us are pretty serious. It's always a dream to be in the building, arena, stadium, field, whatever, when your team wins a championship. And Chris, I know you got to experience that earlier this year when our beloved Birds took home the Lombardi. But Lou got to be in the building for the greatest trophy in all of sports. Back-to-back years now, the Florida Panthers are the champs. And this time you got to be there in person, live, and then it looked like – did you guys get a day with the cup or something? Because you were all over with the elbow and whatever else was going on.
Almost. I mean, listen, before last year, because this is a repeat now, but before last year, going back to the Heat championships, there was no social media like there is now. And so the minute that the Panthers hoisted that trophy, there was already rumblings as to where they were going to be and where that trophy was going to be. And I made a point to say, hey, I want to be a part of this. This is what you do it for. Franchises are around for some 100 years, some, if you're an expansion recently, decades. How many do you win? The Yankees have won 27, but still, over a grand scheme of things, you got to take these moments for what they are, relish into it. And you never know what's going to happen again. So I saw all those things. They were going to be at the Elbow Room. Immediately went over there. They went to a nightclub or gentleman's club, a little bit of both, if you will, at 11. So we went up there. We saw the trophy there as well. And to your point, it is the hardest trophy in sports to win, the beautiful trophy. I mean, the way it's set up, the aura of it, everything that goes with it. I needed to be in its presence, and I wasted no time in doing that.
Can you say that for me one more time? It is what to win? It's the hardest trophy in sports to win? Because if you try and argue that with Diaz, which is like arguing with a cinder block, because apparently the NBA title is the hardest to win because there's so few that actually compete for it, because you go into the playoffs and there's only 4 teams that have a chance to win it normally.
Yes.
That's his hyperbole. No, the most difficult in all sports to win is the 4 rounds of hell that these guys put their bodies through. Broken bones, torn ligaments, like it used to be concussions. Like these
stitches, all kinds of shit. Yeah.
Everything that these guys taken, like you're sacrificing your body. I mean, like the year we went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2010, Ian LePerriere that season took not 1, but 2 pucks to the face. And dude, like it's insane. Like Gagne was playing with a broken foot and Carter was playing with a broken foot. The one year in 2008, Jason Smith, we lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jason Smith played with 2 separated shoulders while Darian Hatcher was getting his knee drained every day, not just game day, every day. Like it is the most difficult trophy in all sports to win. It is the sweetest when you win it. I can't say that I've seen my team win it yet. I'm looking forward to the day. Hopefully it does happen in my lifetime. I'm jealous of you with that, Lou. But I've been telling buddies of mine, I'm like, my buddy Lou, diehard South Florida sports fan. He's been in the building to see 3 of his teams witness a championship. What did you have? 2 Heat? You had 97 Marlins, 2 of the Heat, and now the Panthers.
Yep.
But the one
you're looking for the career grand slam.
Yeah,
I'm missing one.
we have it between the two of us now.
Yeah, right. Well, I think the Flyers and the Dolphins have partnered up here. So, but look, this is a baseball show, and I'll get into that in a moment. But you've seen the Yankees. You've been about the Yankees winning championships. Chris, you've seen the Phillies, and yes, I've seen my Marlins. I do want to laud my accomplishments though here. I've seen the Marlins win twice. I was actually in the building in 1997 for that walk-off. And then I've seen the Larry O'Brien trophy being handed out 4 times. I saw, believe it or not, I was there in 2009 in Orlando. I went with my buddy up to Orlando to see the Lakers win the trophy in Orlando in Game 5. Kobe Bryant.
That's pretty
named
cool.
the MVP.
Yeah,
Not too
that's
bad.
cool.
And then I saw the trophy being handed out in 2011, unfortunately, to the Dallas Mavericks at the American Airlines Arena at the time. And then in back-to-back years, the Miami Heat, 2012 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and 2013 against the San Antonio Spurs. And again, now here in 2025, I was in the building in Game 6 to see the Stanley Cup. So this has just been an incredible thing to witness. It's what you do it for. It's what you attend games for, to see the finality, the end of the season, and see that trophy, being given to the team.
Lou, when
I
did
just
you
love seeing the passion, the passion from both of you guys and everybody around me. It's just so awesome, dude. Like
living
I look
vicariously
like such
through
a
you?
good time. Absolutely.
When did you
Go
buy
for
the
it.
tickets? Did you buy them after Game 5? Did you buy them after Game 4 in preparation for a Game 6?
No,
were
so
they expensive? Did you feel like you spent
No.
too much on them?
not at all. We got a tremendous deal. So we bought group tickets last off season and the reason why we got group tickets is to go to the home opener to see the banner being raised, the first ever time that banner was going to be raised. So in getting group tickets, we were able to get a pre-sale code to the entire playoffs. We got the first game, and then we already had some commitments throughout the summer. So we got the first game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Game 3 was a loss, but then we ended up getting all 3 potential Stanley Cup Finals games, and we did go to 2 out of the 3. Fortunately for us, they were both wins. We are proud to say we're undefeated in Stanley Cup Finals. We were in the building for Game 3 in 2023 against the Las Vegas Golden Knights, their only win of that series, and then Game 3 and Game 6 of this Stanley Cup Final. So we're 3-0 in Stanley Cup Final games.
I'm 1-0, so and we're right there with each other.
Yeah, undefeated, right? Perfect win percentage.
You guys
No,
ought to attend more games, it sounds like.
Yeah, I need the Flyers to get back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's half the battle, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, hopefully we're on the uptick. That's what you hope for.
I mean, what an experience, though. My
Tremendous.
God. That's why I asked. I seen you guys bouncing around in all these places. I'm like, are Lou and actually getting a day with the cup? Are they going to have pictures of him in a fountain somewhere? Like Ovechkin was just flopping around drinking beer out of the freaking thing.
That was awesome.
I was waiting for it.
Ovechkin waking up in bed next to the cup, it's just
Yeah,
And
not
that
yet.
trophy.
We get fingers crossed. We
Go
will. I know. Chris. Hopefully we get our day with it. Definitely. I know the Vince Lombardi Trophy will be made available, and you'll get your way to it as well. So yeah, hopefully we get it. Ironically enough, and I know Chris, you're going to San Fran coming up here. That's going to be an awesome trip. I know you're going to get into that. We are going to be going to Toronto in September, and the Stanley Cup is housed in the Toronto Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So we will be reunited with that trophy in September when we're up there to watch the Dolphins versus Bills. So looking forward to being reunited with it.
So that's I've already done Toronto, right? We did that, I think, 2 years ago, the boys and I.
yeah.
And one of the things we did was we went to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Now, I don't know have either of you two been there yet?
No,
Not yet. I've been to the Baseball Hall of Fame
Guys.
8 times, but haven't
Yeah.
done this one.
I'm not.
The Hockey Hall of Fame, I'm telling you, cut out a huge portion of time for it. It's inside of a mall, which is a little weird, but it just goes on forever. And it is absolutely freaking awesome. You don't realize how big and how cool that cup actually is until you get up right next to it. And they have one, not the one that that your boys got to run around a freaking ice with, but it's a retired cup that you can go up and stand with and take pictures. And I'm telling you, that thing is, and you marvel at it while you're waiting in line to get up to you. Just like, oh my God, I'm going to get to touch this thing.
37
They
pounds.
let you walk right up. They let you walk right up, touch it, put your arm around it, hug it. You know, as long as you don't try to pick it up and run out the freaking door with it. Good luck.
I'm not touching it until the Flyers win. I can't. I can't.
I get it.
I'm right there. Like, Adam, how old were you in '94 when the Rangers finally broke that long streak? What was that? 50 years?
I was 15 years old.
I mean, that's a great age for it, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was cool. Don't get me wrong. To see the city explode like that, you know, New York's got everything, right? So there's two of everything. But you know, the Islanders had their run in the early '80s, right? So you had
4 in a
four
row.
straight cups.
Five straight. They went to 5 straight cup
Right.
finals.
They went to five.
They
win
lost
four.
the 5th one.
So, but this is what I was talking about to people with the Knicks. Like, there are Islander fans and Ranger fans. It's mostly Rangers. Okay, so when the Rangers, when Messier makes the you know the ultimatum and he predicts it and he makes the call, we're going to win it, and then delivers. I mean, that city went absolutely bananas. You'd have thought it was the only team in the whole city. Every bar in the entire place, in the entire city, was absolutely packed. The entire surrounding area. I grew up 40 minutes from the city. Everybody's out, dude. Everybody's out with their Messier jerseys and their Richter jerseys and everything. It was out of control. The only team in New York, though, where really the whole city does this, it's the Knicks. Right? Nobody's a Nets fan. It's like
Silly.
Brooklyn, Jersey. Nobody roots for the Nets. So, you know, as cool as it is to talk about Lou's accomplishment, I would also like to give a big congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for vanquishing the satanic, devil-worshipping Indiana Pacers. I fully believe, this is my belief, that Larry Bird was sacrificing young Hoosier youth into an active volcano for Halliburton to hit those shots the way he was hitting them throughout the postseason. Now, it was a shame what happened to Halliburton. I don't root for that.
That
for anyone.
sucked.
It's tough. That's
That
tough.
was terrible. But I do think the right team won the trophy, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. And Halliburton's dad can go into that volcano as well because
Yeah, I agree.
douche
What a
canoe.
human
like that
garbage.
is.
Yeah. Human garbage with that guy.
You know, when they showed his dad after he went down with the injury, it reminded me of Booby Miles' uncle when in Friday Night Lights. You guys know the look on the face that I'm saying, right?
Yeah, yes.
He's talking all that shit,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden he sees his meal ticket go down, and he's like,
Yeah.
Brutal, dude. That was a brutal watch. I talked about it a little bit last night when I just did the Unhappy Gilmore show about the Achilles stuff. Before we get to baseball, I kind of wanted to get you guys' opinion on this. I don't know when sports teams, now coaches' primary responsibility is to put their team in the best position to win. All right. So, and these are professional athletes. It's not their job to talk a guy out of play. Medical staff, different story. But it's not the coach's responsibility to do that. So I can't knock Halliburton. He knew the score, right? He knew what was possible. And he went out there and he was on fire before that injury happens. But now you've had Halliburton, Tatum. There were a few others just in the basketball season. You know, we saw Aaron Rodgers just a couple of years ago. LeVar Arrington, who I listened to on my ride to work on Two Pros, has talked about when he popped his Achilles. All of them have Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant, all of them leading up to it have had calf issues in varying levels of severity. So when is it going to be a thing where teams are like, oh, shit, you know, this guy's got a serious calf strain or the calf injury kind of won't go away. You saw with the Bengals a couple of years ago, Burrow tweaked his calf in the preseason. They didn't play him for a while. And he did not pop his Achilles. I don't know if that was an automatic thing. It just feels like that is it almost feels like a guarantee that a serious calf strain leads to that.
We dealt with this 6 years ago with Kevin Durant in the NBA Finals in 2019.
Right.
So here's the thing, and people did this then, and they're doing it now. Listen, you can't tell a grown man. I don't care what you want to say. You can't tell a grown man he can't step on that court for his team. Like, I'm sorry. Halliburton, if he had to do it 100 times over, he would do it 100 times again, times 100 times again. And
no question about it.
And I have no problem with that. like if this is February, obviously you sit him down and you sit him out and you tell him this is what's best for you and this is what's best for the team. And I know this is probably going to hurt Indiana for next year. And because he's probably not going to play at all next year.
Him and Tatum both are likely out for the whole season.
Dame Lillard, who's now in his mid-30s, he's probably out all next year too because what was that, the first round that he did it? Like, I understand it. Like, there's a lot at stake. It's a 25-year-old kid. He's got a long career ahead of him. He's probably not going to play again until he's 26, 27 at this rate. I don't care. He played in Game 6. He played well in Game 6, and he helped them get to Game 7. He had every right in his power to go out there on his own terms and play for his team, for a franchise that's never won an NBA title before. He laid it all on the line. To me, it sucks. It's an awful circumstance for him. It's an awful circumstance for the Pacers and their satanic fans or whatever you want to say that they are. And it's bad for the league because you're not going to have three of your biggest stars going into next season, probably for the whole entire season. However, that's not anybody else's call shot to call. That's Halliburton's call, and he is to play. I give him all the credit in the world. I'm happy that he did it.
It's Game 7. Nobody's saying he shouldn't play, right? I think that would be outlandish. And he is, yes, he's only 25, but he is a professional, right? This is not a college athlete, okay? This is a professional basketball player making millions of dollars. It is 1,000% his call. I just, I'm not trying to encourage anything about talking guys out of playing in those moments.
Not saying you are, but I've seen some people saying that. Like, there's a responsibility. And I'm like, come on, what are you talking about? You can't do that.
No, there's not. The coach has a responsibility to win. That's the coach's responsibility, period. Anyone who thinks that Rick Carlisle had a responsibility to Tyrese Halliburton's remainder of his career, you're fooling yourself.
No.
Okay? Rick Carlisle makes his paychecks by winning basketball games. Period. End of story. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, like I said,
look at Thibodeau. Look at Thibodeau.
Yeah.
I mean, Thibodeau gets him to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years, and he gets fired. Fired. I mean, they're on option 15,000 right now. They can't get anybody to get the job.
I was okay with letting Thibodeau walk out the door if there was a plan.
There's not.
There's no plan.
There's no plan. So now what it feels like Dolan again. That's what it feels like.
It was Dolan's call. There was no doubt.
100. And Dolan has been out of the mix for a couple of years, which is why the roster has been able to get better, and the team has had some more success. Dolan starts meddling around again, and it's going to be right back to mired in mediocrity at best. Because
Jerry Krause syndrome.
He's a shitty owner, man. He just is. He's fucking terrible.
Yeah, but look, to chime in on it, definitely player's choice, right? I wouldn't even say it's a Game 7. I think if it's an elimination game in the championship round, the player wants to go out there and suit up. You're fighting for a title, Now, if you're up 3-1 or 3-2, and you're not backs against the wall, okay, maybe the team could say, "Hey, sit this one out if it comes to it." But come on, you got a chance to win the championship. You don't sit back and let matters take into its own hands. So it's a player's choice, and it sucked. It was a heartbreaking moment to see that, but he made the right choice. I'll go around, the room here. Would you guys, if it was up to you, you're going to listen to your coach tell you hold you back from a winner take all game? Hell no.
You'd have to strap me down to that bench.
Right.
There'd be no way. You'd have to physically pin me down and stop me from going out there. No question about it.
Yeah,
Russ Taylor. Russ is hanging with us. He says, "Don't worry, Embiid can carry the league and play in 2K."
Oh, man.
Chris, I very much enjoyed the Twitter banter last night. That was fantastic.
What a dipshit.
Always a great show when Chris and Diaz start battling with each other.
I'm so sick and tired of the hypocrisy from Diaz. It pisses me off. This guy wants to sit there and be like, "Oh, the Flyers have won a Stanley Cup in 50 years." Did you say shit when the Eagles went 58 years without winning a Super Bowl or a championship? How about the fact that the Sixers are now going into year 43? Like, what's the difference between 43 and 51? 8 years? I mean, really, they both suck. So, but if you want to be honest with yourself, who's had the most success over the last 40 years? I don't give a shit about the last 5, but if you want to talk about the last 40 years totality of success between the Flyers and the Sixers, for the love of God, it's the Flyers. It's not even close. It's not even close. And then he's sitting there going, "Oh, well, the Flyers, the Sixers started being more successful during the second administration than the Flyers during the second administration of Obama. I'm sorry, the last year of Obama's tenure, you won 10 games. You won 10 games. You went from 38 to 19 to or 23 to 19 to 10 in 4 years.
He posted the freaking record for the 4 years. I was cracking up.
This is Obama's second administration. You started having success when Trump took office. What are we talking about? It's just he's such a friggin' moron. And it's
I'm telling you, it's one of life's little guilty pleasures. When I open up my phone, I'm laying down to go to bed, and I open up my phone, and Twitter's just blowing up, and all I see is Chris and Diaz going back. I'm like, oh, I gotta jump. Dude, so I jump in and I start to try to poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah.
It's always a good time when things are going shitty when one of the local teams has the fans ready to eat each other.
Man, I'll tell you what, I never feel more intelligent in my whole entire life than when I get to speak after Diaz every pregame show. Because the stupid shit that comes out of his mouth, or the 8 years that it takes him to ask Trey a question,
oh God.
I'm sorry. I sound like the greatest football analysis in the world after Diaz says whatever verbal diarrhea comes out of his mouth.
I love sitting on the end because I know I've got 3 things right off the top of my head that I want to ask Trey or whoever. And it comes around and Diaz, of course, has to monopolize all the time. And then jump in and
Quimby monopolizes it the most.
What's that?
Quimby monopolizes the most.
Quimby monopolizes all of it. Yeah. Okay. Between Diaz, dude, it's why does anybody else even sit up here?
I love it when Quimby says 30 seconds, and then you start talking, and you're 5 seconds into your 30 seconds, and he's like, wrap it up. Dude, I got 25 seconds left. What clock are you on?
Don't be some slack here.
I know that's not 30 seconds. I mean, ask my wife, but it's
There it is.
I know what 30 seconds is, damn it, and that's not 30 seconds.
Oh,
right.
man.
That's it, dude. I'm out of, believe me, after 30 seconds, I'm out of breath. I'm not out of breath yet. So, come on.
You guys ever see that video of that dude that has a stopwatch and he has his girl humping air on the bed? And she's like, I guess she was giving him shit about why are you always so tired? When you're doing that. He's like, all right, let me see you do it. So he has the stopwatch and she's sitting there thrusting and she keeps falling down. And I'll have to look it up and find it and send it to you guys. It's freaking hysterical.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is so much better than talking about the Phillies.
Lou? Lou, you got anything else you want to throw in here? We're all basking in your glory right now, brother. So
yeah. So I will say this.
Yeah,
no, of all the championships that I've been able to witness here, they've been awesome. But I got to take it back to baseball. It's a baseball show, and I got to be honest. As much as I love basketball and this hockey run has been amazing, man, I was at that Game 7 in 97 against the Cleveland Indians. Marlins were down 2-0 going into the 7th. Bobby Bonilla hits a home run, make it 2-1. And then we tie it up in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs and goes to extras. And we get a walk-off.
Jose Mesa.
Jose Mesa.
Edgar Renteria.
Walk-off hit in the 11th inning as the clock struck midnight. Game 7 of the World Series. So it's tough to beat that. Seeing the clock winding down, you got the countdown to 0 is fun, but baseball has no clock, and to see it decided like that was that still to this day is the moment of all the championship moment for me of all the ones that I've witnessed.
My first
that's
time.
what makes baseball so great, right? It's no matter what, you could be up 20-0. You still got to go out there, take the mound, and face that man and get him. Right? There is no clock. You still got to go do your job. So you can't just play hide and seek with shit. You got to go take care of it.
To add to that, just like the same thing. If it's you just mentioned 20-0 Game 7 of the World Series, you're not pulling. You're still going to keep your team on the field. You're not having the quarterback, the backup quarterback, take the last snap and take the knee. You're not subbing in your bench players. As the handshake line is being formed. you're playing to the 27th out is recorded, and so that's what makes the game so great. There's no clock.
You want to go? Can you go give the Yankees that speech? Playing the 27th out. Can somebody help me out there?
I will try that.
My first time at the Baseball Hall of Fame was right after that World Series. And at the time, they used to have the room where the championships and like the championship rings and all that stuff. And they had a scoreboard, and it would show the scoreboard of the last game of the season of Game 7. So it had Cleveland and Florida up there with the box score like going along like the top. It was really cool. I'll say this, like, I know, like, we're baseball historians and we love the historic aspects of the game, and we would, all three of us, and I think a lot of like people that we know that would still attend a baseball game that would go 9 innings with no clock, and it would last 4.5 hours, and we'd have no problem with that. I mean, for me, I've grown to come accustomed to the pitch clock. I think I do like the fact that there is some times where you're getting out of there at 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2.5 hours. Especially like on a school night and you're walking out of the ballpark and it's 9:15 after a 6:45 start. I will say this, though. I've said this since the inception of it. They need to get rid of it in the postseason. Like, what makes the postseason so special is letting the moments breathe and allowing a moment. Like, if there was a pitch clock, the moment that happened with Bedlam at the Bank in 2022 does not happen because, like, Harper stepping out of the box and like the little cat and mouse game that he was playing with Suarez, you can't do that shit now. Like, everything is like, you got to get in there and there's runner on base. Now you got 20 seconds to figure it out. I like the cat and mouse, like, let it breathe, look around, get the feel of the stadium and the electricity in it. I wish they would do that, especially like in the World Series. I think the World Series is the perfect time for it. It's all about drama. I mean, that's what it is. It's TV, it's ratings, it's drama. And I think the pitch clock kind of takes away a little bit of that once you get to the postseason.
When they first started talking about it, to me, I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is the fact that it became a necessity. Had the umpires just enforced the rules as they're written, the clock doesn't need to be there, right? You go back to like 80s baseball. These guys didn't step out of the box and do a freaking Texas two-step in between every pitch. The pitcher didn't walk around the mound for a half an hour like a human fucking rain delay, right?
Steve Traxel.
Exactly. They just took the mound, they pitched, the hitters dug in, and the game moved along. There was no need for this pitch clock. So to me, I hate Manfred, but he's going to get credit for saving baseball because of this thing.
Right.
It's about the fact that there was a necessity for it because the umpires weren't just telling these guys, get your ass in the freaking box, get your ass on the mound. If they'd have just done that, none of this happens. And then you still have your moments where it's necessary to let it breathe, right? Bedlam at the Bank is a perfect example. Crushed freaking, home run, and you need a few extra minutes, right? Everything's got, you gotta let the moment build. But because you've taken care of business leading up to that point, you're not harming the longevity, the amount of time it's taking to play the game. That's the only part where I get annoyed with it. I don't mind the pitch clock. I mind that it became a necessity.
Yeah. And to Chris's point, what about when a series or even a playoff game gets decided on a pitching violation?
Yes.
I mean, what's going to happen? People are going to lose their shit. I mean,
that's my biggest fear with it.
Me too.
Yeah, you cannot have that happen. There's just no way, dude. I mean, are you kidding me? People will lose their mind. Everybody hates Angel Hernandez. Could you imagine if that shit happened? Right.
Yeah. Somebody told me, a buddy of mine came up to me the other day and says, what happens if a pitcher has a no-hitter going into, extra innings, during the regular season now, and he continues to, in the 10th inning, if he's still in there and you get the ghost runner on there and he loses the run, he loses the game, I'm sorry. How do you explain that being a perfect game? Because he didn't face the 27 batters and you went into extra innings and there was a runner put on second base. So there could be, that hasn't happened yet either, but there could possibly, you follow what I'm saying there? There could be a possibility of a perfect game, losing a perfect game. And it's not, there was a base runner. There's a runner put on second base.
it's true. You start off with the guy on second base. Let's say he get two deep enough fly balls are both caught. The guy tags and scores. Right? Tags goes to third, then tags and scores. No hits given up, no walks, no nothing. It's
How do
still
you write
perfect.
that in? It's a perfect game, right? But is it?
Perfect, but he loses, right? It's a walk-off.
Yeah.
A walk-off perfect game. I don't know how that would happen.
Yeah,
That would be odd.
we don't have to worry about that because no one pitches in the
Nobody's
10th
ever
inning.
going to pitch that long.
The last Philly I remember that pitched through 10 innings was Cliff Lee. And that was, 13, 14 years ago that Lee pitched the 10. And then maybe the last pitcher that did it was Bumgarner. I'm thinking it's kind of scratching my head at the last starter that actually did that. And it might have been like 10 years ago, but Jack Morris in Game 7 in a 91 World Series.
Yeah.
I mean,
he goes into 10 innings. Yeah,
you really don't have to worry about that. And, like the Ghost Runner sucks. I hate the Ghost Runner.
that's the worst rule.
Yeah. To me, it's an advantage for the road team every single time. Like they get to set the tone. They get to set the tone. Well, like
right?
what the home team needs to do. I hate that.
I'm pretty sure the Yankees are 12-26 since the inception of that rule.
Oof.
Yeah, it's brutal. Now that to me is it's just poor bullpen work or poor bullpen management by Aaron Boone. But either way, it's a brutal record. With that, it's something like that: 12-25, 12-26. Yeah, it's rough. So
Well,
anytime
anytime
a game of ours goes to extra innings, I just turn the game off. I'm like, fuck it. I'm down and bother watching.
That's been the last 2 days for me.
It's so, Yankees fan, but a lot of my buddies, Phillies fans, because of the Eagles ties, everybody up in arms with this Houston shit. I guess you're kind of thinking you're lucky stars. You chose San Francisco instead of Texas this year.
Well, San Fran was always the one. There was never a doubt I was doing San Fran. It was whether we were doing Texas or we were doing Houston. And so, it just worked out that Texas was on a weekend. My dad's cousin and her husband, they did Kansas City with us last year. So they took the 4-hour drive up north from Oklahoma. And this year they're going to take the 4-hour drive south to, Fort Worth, Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it works out for them to drive. It would have been an 8-hour drive for them to come to Houston. And I was like, I think I don't want to do 2-week trips. I would have did Houston this week, and then I would have done San Fran during a week coming up. And it's end of month at work. It's not working. But at the end of the day, thank God. Like it could not get any worse. I mean, the starting pitching has been phenomenal for the Phillies. It has been electric. I mean, what the guys have done. The Phillies became the 10th team in Major League Baseball history. And it's never a good thing when you become the 10th team in anything, when it's a negative connotation. 10th team, this is per Paul Casella, who writes for the Phillies on MLB.com. The Phillies are just the 10th team to be swept despite allowing no more than 5 runs in an entire series. Has not been done since the 2014 Twins. 2000 Diamondbacks, 1992 Dodgers, 91 Brewers, 72 White Sox, 66 Reds, 1913 A's, we all remember them, the 1913 Brooklyn Dodgers, and the 1909 St. Louis Browns.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the company that the Phillies have joined.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
So if I'm Rob Thompson and we're boarding our flight now, I'm happy about this. The Phillies got out on a getaway day in Houston today. We got the hell out of there. While Atlanta is playing tonight, hopefully they have a 20-inning game in New York tonight against the Mets, and they don't get home until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we're completely well rested in Atlanta. But yeah, it's been ugly. But as Rob Thompson is letting his players get on the plane, all of them have to get kicked in the nuts 3 times. One each by Ranger Suarez, Zach Wheeler, and Christopher Sanchez. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, listen,
the
Yankees just went through something like that last week. Like they had a long scoreless drought. The same thing. It sucks, man. It's like, come on, can't hit.
It's been a scuffle lately. Even as great as Aaron Judge is, I mean, he's been scuffling too. Teams have stopped pitching to him. Why the hell it took that long, I don't know. But the guy was batting 400 like 2.5 weeks ago. He's down to 360 now. Down to 360 here. Here we are.
We've
June
said this on this
26th,
show
and
for
the guy-
God knows how long. Why are you pitching to him? There's no one behind him.
I don't understand.
There's
I don't
nobody.
know why they were pitching to him, and they continued to do it. And I mean, hell, the Reds started off their first game. They pitched to him in the first inning. He freaking tattooed one. Second deck, left field. Like, I don't know why you would pitch to him. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't know. As an opposing team, I let Cody Bellinger beat you. Let someone else.
Jazz Chisholm.
There's no Juan Soto there anymore. So there is literally no reason to ever. I would tell you what, you talked about kicking everybody in the nuts 3 times. Any pitcher on my team that threw Aaron Judge a fastball would get punched right in the throat immediately after coming off the field. Just, what is wrong with you? I would never throw him a fastball. There's absolutely no reason to do it. If you walk him, you walk him. Who cares? Let somebody else do the damage. I don't get it. But it has been a bit of a scuffle. And just, I look at this team and I'm like, Max Fried has been unbelievable. Carlos Rodon has been a little more inconsistent lately, but overall pretty good. And I look at this team and I'm like, where is this team if Garrett Cole is healthy? Where now Cole is at the top of the rotation. Max Fried is doing his thing as the deuce. And Rodon is pitching the way he's pitching as your third starter. But of course, this day and age, everybody has to tear their UCL at least once in their career. And so here we are.
Yeah.
We're only a game up on Tampa. So,
And that's where I was going with it. I won't gloat about my Marlins just sweeping San Francisco Giants. So the good times continue to roll down here. But on both of your aspects, you're in the division lead. The Phillies currently tied with the Mets, but missed an opportunity, right? The Mets had lost 7 in a row and 2 out of their last 8, and the same thing with the Rays. The Rays have really corrupt up in the East, and they're now just a half a game back. And I saw Ashley and I were down in Tampa, or up in Tampa, I should say, to watch the Marlins play the Rays in that Steinbrenner field, small ballpark. But the Rays are playing good baseball. And so once again, they figured out a way to, without any stars, without any, anybody of note on that team, they are playing some good ball. And I just feel both of your teams have squandered opportunity here to separate themselves a little bit from the teams directly behind you.
Hey, the Rays are going to get Wander Franco back in a couple years.
I don't know about that, but
did you see the news? Did you see what Passan put out today? He got 2 years in prison for doing what he did. Her mom, the 14-year-old girl's mom, got 10 for trafficking.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
holy shit.
So he did the deed.
Yeah.
Got 2. Her mom trafficked her own daughter and got 10.
That's crazy.
Golly, dude. Michael Scott, this is for you, Chris. Phillies need a
Jesus
power
Christ.
right-handed bat.
Wow.
We've rendered Sack speechless with that one. Good job.
Oh,
Good work,
God.
Mike.
Nicely done.
As if, oh God, yeah. The funny thing is everybody knows my pure hatred for David Bell. Dude, I didn't even read, like, as soon as you said Mike Scott, my eyes went straight to David Bell. I didn't even read the whole entire thing. And then all I heard was you saying power bat, right? Power right-handed bat. God, I can't stand it. Yeah. It's crazy to think. We haven't even been together to talk about Devers getting traded. I mean, like,
yes.
that was, dude, I mean, I think we all knew inevitably was going to be happening. But, like, why? To me, this deal right here kind of felt like Cliff Lee. When the Phillies traded away Cliff Lee when they acquired Holiday. It didn't make sense as far as, like, you heard no rumors that the Phillies were shopping Cliff Lee. I think it was just a one shop. You make a call to a guy, to a general manager that you know, that you have ties with, and you go, hey, what can you give me with this? Because I need to dump the salary. And like, I know the Giants took on the whole entire salary. It's not like there was any money that was given. Yeah. But it's not like the Giants don't have it, first of all. And it's not like the Giants haven't been trying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. They've been trying to spend it for years. They would have did it with Vladdy if Vladdy hit the market. They did it with Shohei. They did it with Judge. They did it with Trey Turner.
Hard with Judge. I thought we were going to lose
Harper too.
I thought we were going to lose Judge to the Giants just because he's from only about 40 miles west of there or east of there. I thought it was a done deal, to be honest with you. I was ready to just drown in my sorrows. He decided to stay in New York, but I mean, yeah, they've been begging for it for a while.
I just can't believe like they didn't even get anything of like quality, like superstar-esque substance to go along with it. Like I think if you would have just hung Devers out there in front of the other 29 teams in Major League Baseball, I think they could have scored a better deal than what they got with San Francisco. It would have worked out better. I know you don't care. As a Yankee fan, you don't care what the Red Sox get. I just don't think that they got the kind of deal that warranted trading Devers away to begin with. They could have got a better.
He's one of the better hitters in baseball, right? So, like, yeah, I think they could have gotten more. They should have gotten more. Am I upset that they didn't? Of course not. But the Giants, what they got, I think they got what they wanted. I think behind the scenes, Devers was causing probably more problems in that locker room than any of us are really aware, right? He was pitching from day one. I don't think it ever stopped. So they got him out of there and got rid of the entire contract, which frees up all that money so they can do whatever they want with it. But not right now, right? I don't know.
It's the Red Sox. Who says that they're going to spend it? They've traded away Devers, Betts. They let go of Bogarts. You know, Benintendi went out the window. Mookie would have signed if they gave him money. He would have stayed.
Mookie was not staying in Boston. There was underlying shit going on with Mookie. There was that's where the racial shit comes into play with him. He had a bad taste in his mouth about Boston. He wanted out. He was leaving Boston. They were not going to be able to retain him. They had to trade him. Devers, they did not have to trade, not for peanuts.
Listen, we talked about this in the first show that we did, and so the Red Sox dropped the ball with this because look, you bring in Bregman. Yes, he should have. Obviously, he was going to be the starter, on our corner. But you tell him that you didn't lay that out there. You kind of put it out there. Well, we're going to try doing this or that, but like halfway into spring training, the minute that you brought Bregman in, it should have been said, "Hey, you're going to be exclusively DH," and they didn't do that. And that rubbed things the wrong way. He obviously started the season out in a tremendous slump. So they set it up for this.
Yeah, outside of the Epstein years, the Red Sox have been poorly run for a very long time. It just is what it is. They didn't treat Mookie very well when he was there. The only guy they really treated well and continued to treat well even after Epstein was gone was Ortiz.
Right, big
that was it. Right, he was the only one because if they didn't, the entire city would have crucified them.
Was Epstein there in 2007? When did Epstein initially leave Boston? He had to have been there for both of the first two titles, right?
I think he got both.
He got those two.
I think so.
And then he goes off to, was it Chicago right away?
Chicago was like 2012, 2011, 2012 was when he went to the Cubs. The Red Sox were the Red Sox were one of the worst teams in baseball in 2012, and then they won the World Series in 2013. And then they won it again in 2018 with probably one of the most dominant teams of all time with that Red Sox team.
Yeah, bang the drum, baby.
Yeah.
That was another Cora deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of the Epstein years, they've just not been well run. So, it shouldn't shock anyone, but when you look at it, it's like, really, again? How many times are you going to do this? I got good buddies that are Sox fans that are kind of beside themselves. Based on what you just said before, Chris, it's like, look, if you were going to just try to unload the salary, you could have just dangled them out there and gotten a better deal.
No doubt.
Somebody's got money. And, of course, the Giants come calling. Sure, you want, here, I'm going to give you this bobblehead, this old piece of shit Casio calculator, and a pencil. And we'll take the other $250 million. But that's all we're going to give you for Devers. And the Sox are like, sold! and off he goes. And of course, to make it even more beautiful, the Sox go out there to play, and here comes Raffy with a 3-run homer. I'm like, yes.
As long as he doesn't do
Happiest
shit in a
person.
couple weeks when I'm in San Fran, he can be quiet for 3 days.
Agreed. The happiest person on the planet is Garrett Cole. There's no question about it. Dude, that guy wore Cole out. And now he doesn't have to face him, but maybe one game a year. Maybe. Depending on where the turn in the rotation comes. And that won't even happen until next year. So Cole has to be just jumping for joy because God, Raffy wore him out, man.
Cole won't even be back until probably about May next year.
Yeah.
If they're smart with playing it with him.
Yeah, well, they better be. I mean, again, like I said before, where's this team if he's pitching? It's frustrating. But, the last couple of weeks have been frustrating in New York. You lose 5 of 6 to Boston, a team that is currently 2 games under 500. You go lose 2 out of 3 to the Reds. And don't get me wrong, Reds have good young talent. Their young pitching staff they're good, right? There's a lot of talent there. And I think what you're starting to see is the effect of Tito Francona in the dugout, right? Coaching these young kids. Look, Tito could have gotten a job anywhere. He didn't come to the Reds to lose, right? Like that's not the goal. He didn't come here to flip-flop his way through his last couple of years and then retire. He came here to win. And I think you're starting to see what his effect is on young players this year. Even Ellie De La Cruz has taken a step forward.
Yeah, well, you have an adult in the room now. I mean, that's the thing I liked about the Reds coming in this year. And plus, at the same time, you don't know what the hell's going on in that division. I mean, the Cubs, everybody thought that the Cubs were going to be kind of this last year. The Cubs have played well this year, and the Brewers have played well of late. And now they got that kid, man, that phenom pitcher. Him and Skeens went at it the other day. Man, what a showdown that was. I know Skeens only lasted 4 innings. But like St. Louis is bipolar and the Pirates suck. So you have a shot in that division. The problem is with being in the National League, and we said this at the beginning of the year, the bulk of the power is in the National League as compared to the American League. Yes. I mean, like everything, like there's 3 teams. I know Atlanta is floundering. I know where they're at, but I mean, come on, are all of us foolish enough to think that the Braves aren't going to hit a run here coming up? And that they're not going to get themselves back in a playoff race. I'm not naive enough to think that they're never really going to get back into it. Did they make the playoffs? Who knows? Did they bury themselves too much of a hole? But they're going to be a pain in the ass the rest of the year. There's too much talent on that team. Yeah. And Acuna is a friggin' stud. I know he's a horse's ass. I'm tired of that stutter step that he does when he hits a home run as he goes into third base. Like, to me, that's clown shit. But the rest of it, I mean, like that team is too good. And then you look at the NL West. I mean, the Diamondbacks are kind of floundering now. They got a lot of injuries. They just lost Suarez. Losing Corbin Burns, to Tommy John surgery. But like the Giants are playing in over their heads, and the Padres are really good, and the Dodgers are the Dodgers. The funny thing is the Dodgers are doing all this stuff right now, and they have no rotation. They have like 15 guys between their bullpen and their rotation on the injury list right now. They have a starting pitcher in Shohei that's only pitching 1 inning a game.
The opener. He's an opener.
And they're still winning.
And I would flip that around. I would make him my closer. I would 100% make him my closer. I would DH him for 8 innings and then bring him in to mop it up. If you just had Shohei Ohtani, who he could just come out there and empty the tank for 1 inning, he's probably the best closer in baseball.
I saw it on the ultimate stage down here in the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. I saw him, shut down the Americans, like nothing, including his former teammate Mike Trout. And the place was nuts. Obviously I was rooting for the United States, as were most of the people in the building. But hey, he came out there. It's an impressive sight, and like nothing. He mowed him down, no problem. So I'm with you. They should use him as a closer.
I like it as a closer. I think that's where they get the most longevity out of that contract they signed him to. Michael Scott, again, do you see any other surprising names to be traded? Maybe somebody we aren't hearing about. I don't know about names right now. But I'll go back to the Cincinnati Reds, who are, 3 games over, 5.5 out of the division right now as the Cubs have kind of come back down to earth a little bit. They're sitting there close to the deadline, 2 to 5 games above 500, just a couple of games out of a wild card spot. I think the Cincinnati Reds have to be buyers this year for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, I could see it. It's a winnable division. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know as far as like trade pieces. I know people around here are bipolar when it comes to the Phillies, and one of the things that is like inevitably pissed me off over the years is everybody treats the Phillies season like it's Eagles season. Like every game is week 5 in the NFL. That's how people treat after this past weekend when they took 2 or 3 against the Mets. I'm all in. But if you heard the radio the last 2 days, they need to think about trading Suarez and Schwarber at the deadline because they're free agents after the season. What are we doing here? Like, you're not doing that. Like, Bryce Harper is going to be back from injury next week. You're going to get Aaron Nola back at some point along the line. You're going to add bullpen arms. Like, there's going to be things that happen with this team that they're going to make changes on it. The thing that Buster only said today is that if the Phillies can add a power-hitting right-handed first baseman, Bryce Harper is back to the outfield. And that could be the case. Now, everybody is too stupid to go first and foremost when they hear right-handed first base bat or first baseman is Rhys Hoskins. Okay. The Brewers aren't going to sell off on Rhys Hoskins because the Brewers are in the race. So
yes, they are.
And I've been down that road. I love Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins was a great Philly. I saw Rhys Hoskins play first base. No, never again. He sucked playing first base. He is a terrible defensive player. I can't do it again. No.
Well,
Get out of your heads.
Defense is not exactly the Phillies' specialty right now, anyways. You don't want to add another weak link to that, right?
I get that. I understand that. Exactly. You don't need it there. When Bryce Harper is if you're going to move him to the outfield, it better be a guy that can kind of comparably play the position to Bryce. I mean, Bryce is an athletic freak. He can play anywhere. Yeah. But at the same time, I need somebody that can actually play the position. Even Ryan Howard could play the position. It's just Ryan Howard's biggest fear was he couldn't make the throw to second. Like I just need a guy that can scoop the ball and catch the play when it's coming, when it's being thrown to him. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. I mean, like there's some teams where, like Texas, what do they feel about themselves? The Angels, do they feel like the West? Like, do they feel like they can get themselves back in? Seattle is a team. They need to add offense to that team.
They really do. Julio Rodriguez has been a real disappointment. If they don't have Cal Raleigh,
man.
My God, dude.
Yeah.
If he's not having the season he's having, I don't even know where the hell they're at. They're 3 games over right now, but Houston's kind of taking control of that division again. And they do. They need some more pop in that lineup desperately.
Yeah.
Cal Raleigh is like Grady Anderson right now. Brady Anderson. It's crazy.
I'll give you a couple. Michael asked, so I'll give you a player, on a horrible team and a guy that
the Marlins.
Not as quite as bad, but a guy that is not really in years had good seasons, but a lot of talent. Big bat and can run the base paths. Luis Roberts. He's a guy that again, it's not having the best of years, but he's got wheels. He's got a bat, and he's on a really bad White Sox team that really has no business keeping him. So I'd look at a team maybe trying to get him and try to have a resurgence in his game that has been lacking here the last year or so. And then in terms of a team, look, you just saw the A's break ground officially in Las Vegas, so that ballpark is going to be built. The Tampa Bay Rays, the Rays are playing in Tampa right now. They're supposedly headed back to the Trop next year, but they don't have a stadium deal in the near future. And they're playing in Tampa Bay right now, as mentioned. They had their schedule uploaded where all their games are at home, so it's going to start playing catch up now, where they're going to be on the road for the good part of the second half of the season. This is their moment. This is their moment to maybe get a big name in there that could put them over the top and solidify that stadium deal. That, let's face it, without it, they're looking to be relocated to Nashville or somewhere else. So I'd look for the Rays to make an impact here and try to get a big name.
Lou, I recently saw that it looks like there's a guy that's in Jacksonville that's looking to purchase the Rays. That's the reason why they pulled that stadium deal off the table there in Tampa because they
Yes.
might be putting the franchise up. Is there a shot that this team could move to Jacksonville?
Oh
No,
God,
so-
please don't say Jackson.
I'm there with you. I'm just saying.
No.
Like the guy is a Jacksonville guy. I mean, like not anywhere in expansion have I heard at all ever Jacksonville,
But
Nashville and Portland and like
Yeah.
those areas.
Jacksonville can't support an NFL franchise.
listen, you're looking too far, but you're in the right state. Don't go up too far.
Orlando.
Jacksonville guy has ties to Orlando, and the Rays. Orlando wants to have a baseball team.
They do.
They right up the road. It's an hour and a half away, and so
It is.
if,
It's not
if
fun.
the Rays don't lock down this deal with either Tampa or St. Pete coming in, Orlando could be a factor, and that's why I'm saying that the Rays got to make a move here to get some popular vote to get the team to get the money to one of those cities to build that stadium.
My personal opinion is it needs to be Tampa. The drive to St. Pete is
Crazy.
fucking horrendous
Yeah.
on game day. There's only so many ways out and off there. You want to have a few beverages at the game. People don't want to have to wait. Dude, I've been there. I've seen it. I know you've been there a bunch of times
Yeah.
yourself. These police officers sit right at the end of these bridges and just wait.
Yeah, and
It's a trap, dude. Like it's not a good setup. That
and
thing
long
needed
bridges.
to go.
Those bridges are-
Yeah, it's
Long
all
bridges. Yeah.
there forever. That thing needed to be in Ybor. It's where it needed to be. And if they can't get that done, then maybe Orlando is the best option for him. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't like the Nashville idea. Having lived there for 3 years, the city infrastructure with the highways and everything, it's really still needing a lot of work. Personally, if somebody was going to relocate or if you looked at expansion, I was hoping for Charlotte.
They already have the stadium, the minor league stadium. It's built in underground. It's really nice. I remember I went there
It's
for
very nice.
Yeah, I went there for Sunday night baseball, Sunday night football, Eagles and Panthers 10 years ago, in 2015. And they you walk by the stadium, I'm like, wow, this place is really nice. They built it into the ground like that to where they had the ability to build up on top of it if they
Yep.
ever were to have a major league team. They're already there. They're prepared for it.
Wow.
I think that one and maybe Salt Lake City. Those two are the ones that but I like the Charlotte idea more. I don't want to hear anything about Montreal. I saw some other idiots say, what about Vancouver? I'm like,
Stop.
I'm like, that's what I said. I'm like, how about Canada tries to win a fucking Stanley Cup for once? Until then, I'm
Right.
going to hear a bunch of shit about my American baseball. Going to Toronto. Look, you're going to enjoy Toronto. The city's cool. The Hockey Hall of Fame is awesome. The CN Tower is really awesome.
Tim
I
Hortons.
don't want to. You're fucking Tim Hortons. It really is like
Yeah, you're making him speechless like Mike did with me with David Bell.
I swear to you guys, Tim Hortons up there is the same as Wawa for you, Chris, or like where I grew up for Dunkin' Donuts, right? It's like it's literally they're like across the street from each other. It's absolute insanity. And don't mention another cup of coffee. Tim Hortons, like I don't need it. Like leave me alone. I'll go to McDonald's.
Get the breakfast.
But
Hey,
yeah,
snack wraps are back on the 7th, July 7th.
Oh, nice.
Guys, I've been doing so good. I have not eaten fast food in probably 2 months. I allow myself like one Coke Zero a week. The beer drinking has been cut way down. I'm down 21 or 22 pounds right now.
See it in your
Since we
face.
started this.
Nice.
Thank you. Since we started this, now this Saturday we've got our Midwest Eagles Nest. We're doing a tiki bar takeover at the back porch. So that's the tiki bar outside. We're invading the back half of that, taking over corridor boards and everything. Got a tournament set up. Once we do this final weigh-in on Saturday morning, I promise you, the second Wawa in this area opened up is 1.5 miles from my house, and it's fucking Hoagie Fest, and I am gonna smash. It's gonna happen. I'm getting the fit. Give me that meatball parm, dude. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I am ready.
Nice.
Dude.
Oh, man. Man, I used to go to Wawa at after closing the bar down at 2:00 in the morning, and I would always get that meatball. Oh my god!
Dude,
And a bag,
it's
and
so good.
a bag of God sour cream and cheddar. The
Sour cream and cheddar.
Oh man,
Or
woo!
the Old Bay, or the Old Bay seasoned chips, and just smash, dude. I am ready. Yeah, and then I'll.
Did Big Mama partake in this?
No, she won't be. She doesn't drive at night, so she won't.
But the weigh-ins in the morning.
Oh, you talking about that? No, she did not partake. My friend Josh had a funny statement about it. Only a couple of us actually got into it. And Josh looked at me. He goes, looking around the group, I'm surprised more people didn't fucking do that. So I would tell you the average age of our group is probably somewhere around 40, right? So we're, jobs established, right? Everybody's older. Everybody's carrying a little bit extra around the middle. Football season happens, and, here come all the buffalo wings and the cheesesteaks and the buckets of beer and the yada, yada, yada. And so by the time the Super Bowl ended, I was 232 pounds, which for me is a really bad look. So something had to be done. I'm like, does anybody else want to get in on this? And my friend Roger did. Scott got into it. Scott Calcaterra. Actually Grant Calcaterra's uncle lives out here. Yeah, really nice guy. Great family.
Grant was great too. He was on the Player Show a few years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that show. It was really cool. And you can see, like, having met Scott, and I had Scott on the Unhappy Gilmore show last year. And I did it from the back porch, and I had him sit down, tell his story, and tell Grant's story. And it was amazing. You can see why Grant is such a good dude. He comes from great stock. Dude. Like
the concussions and all that stuff that he had to go through.
Yeah, how he retired. He was going to be
retired.
Yeah. All this shit. Yeah, dude. Yep. Really, just an amazing story. So yeah, we got into it with the Biggest Loser thing, and not enough to really make it like a monetary value. It's more like, okay, let's just see how much combined weight we can lose, and then we can all brag about it. So that's where we're at.
That's awesome. That's great.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to go fuck it all up on Saturday.
The good thing is you can't gain 22 pounds back in one day.
Exactly.
No. Especially when I dehydrate this, especially when I'm actively dehydrating the shit out of myself by drinking a shitload of beer.
If you work out, are you probably going to work out on Saturday morning before you go to the weigh-in?
Absolutely.
Dude, man, you're going to burn off probably 600-700 calories, which means your intake for the day is going to be like 2,700 somewhere in that range to where you can eat. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna smash. It'll put on a couple of pounds, but I'm not overly concerned about it. I've been fine. I don't eat at all after like 7:30 at night.
Yeah.
Until lunchtime the next day, and then that window's open until that 7:30 again, and it's just
you build a foundation.
kitchen.
Now you just gotta stick with it.
That's it, and that's always been the problem, right? Like I probably got another 15 to lose, but this will be a more gradual over time to take off.
I've been taking those Chris Long creatine gummies, dude. My body feels really good since I started taking them about like a week and a half ago. Yeah, like dude, I was feeling it in my left heel. Like, cause I get up every morning, I get on the Peloton. Like now it's that time of year where you're outside, you're doing 2-3 hours of like outdoor lawn work and all that shit. Like, yeah, man, like my body was feeling it. Like I could feel it in my not my Achilles, but like right below the right calf. My left heel and all that stuff. Like, dude, the creatine, man, I take 2 or 3 of those a day, and you drink a shit ton of water.
Always with the well, you see me with this.
I know. Dude, that's the thing's obnoxious.
This thing is my daughter got it for me. This thing's a half a gallon.
Nice.
And so, I had to cut back on. I was starting to have pain in my lower right side. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm not doing anything wrong here. How much water are you drinking? I'm like, well, I fill this thing up about 5-6 times a day. I'm like, are you insane? It's like 3 or 4 gallons of water. You're drinking too much water. And sure enough, I cut it back and the pain goes away. So, I kind of figured out the happy medium. But, I work in a warehouse, man. So before I even get to the gym, I'm usually at 9,000 or 10,000 steps as it is.
Wow.
And then it's weights for 40 minutes. And then I get on that elliptical and I go at it with the level set to 16 for resistance. And I go at it until that counter says I burned 300 calories. Then I cool down for a minute or two, and then I get off it. I'm completely drenched in sweat like a fucking pig. But,
Yeah.
it's been working. After this weekend, it'll still gym every day, but regiment will change a little bit. I'm not going to go as crazy with the cardio like that.
Correct.
Right now, it's just been trying to burn it and, win.
I'm jealous, man. I got to get back on that train. I was once there, but no, man. You mentioned calories is the big thing. When I was actually in good shape about 4 or 5 years ago, and then prior to that, like 10 years prior to that, I was kind of like I am now right now, and it's just calories, right? I mean, I was never a big coffee drinker. I drank a lot of soda in my 20s, and you look at the back of a can of Coke or whatnot, and you see it's 260 calories or whatever it is, and then you get on the treadmill and you just mentioned 300. Well, you got 4 or 5 Cokes. You're fighting a losing battle. You're never going to win. So it's all about calories. You calorie count it. You make sure you put it in the work and the effort in the gym or the elliptical, the Peloton, and then you just count your calories. It all balances out, man. So you're doing it the right way, and proud as heck of you, brother. It's awesome.
Lou,
Thanks, I appreciate it.
I always say, Lou, and you can agree, and same thing with you, Adam. Our wives still sleep with us.
Yes, that's it. It's
like I don't know why. I don't get it. I'm not as good looking. I'm not as thin as I used to be. I had hair when we met. All that good stuff. She still sleeps with me. At the end of the day, you just gotta. You're doing something right. You're
doing something right. It's true. Yeah.
You've got a great personality.
But I mean, especially once you get over 40, right? I mean, I felt it when I got over.
I'm not
30,
there yet.
And I couldn't just diet and expect the weight to fall off anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to start exercising, and now, I mean, I'm 46 years old, and if I just sit back and go, well, now look, don't get me wrong, at 232 pounds, no more fast food and no more soda, and cut back the beer way down. Yes, weight just naturally fell off, but then you plateau and it doesn't move.
Yeah.
Unless you go to the fucking and put in the work.
Yeah.
Like I can't, we're not in our 20s anymore where you can just, I 22, 23 years old, I could eat an entire large pizza, wake up the next day and weigh less than I did the year before.
Correct.
Ridiculous. Now I can still go eat the large pizza because I'm a fucking slob, but I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll be 5, 6, 8 pounds heavier.
crazy.
And my ass jiggles for another week and a half. So you got to put in the exercise, you got to put in that work, but the diet has to change too. A lot of chicken, brown rice, salads. Tomorrow we got cookout at work. I'll have a burger, no bun.
No bun. I was about to say, yep, no bun, no bread.
There's gonna be.
I'm on the no bread diet right now. I no bread.
Nice.
Yep.
But
People
hey,
get hooked on the carbs thing, but the only tried and true way to do it is caloric deficit, dude. I mean, it really is what it is.
hey, so I'm joining you guys in the 40s in January.
Nice.
And I'm waiting. I can't wait. My favorite day of the year is always when Major League Baseball releases their next year's schedule. And every year it gets earlier and earlier. So it's like, end of July. And I'm like, oh, God, what am I doing next year? So, like, my 40th birthday bash next year, gentlemen, Wrigleyville. Now, my birthday's in January, but that is not going to stop. I haven't been to Wrigley in 11 years next year. I have to go back.
It'll be 11 for me too.
What's that? Yeah, for 11 years. Yeah, 2015 was the last time I was there.
Yep,
So me and my dad, we did it every year, and I know I've taken some time off from it because I've had 2 kids and I bought a house, and life has happened since then. And I've also gotten to other ballparks. I've been able to really continue my journey on. Next year, we're slated. Me and Rach were talking because she hasn't done Dodger Stadium. I have. And neither of us have done Angel Stadium. So we're talking about next year going to LA with the kids. So we would do Disneyland, Universal, and either see the Phillies at Dodger Stadium or at Angel Stadium and do the other one while they're there.
Sure.
So spend a week in Southern California and knock that out. But I normally get to 2 every year. Next year, I got to get back to Wrigley. I have to celebrate tournament. I don't give a shit about birthdays. I don't care. I think 40 is a cool milestone, and I'm willing to live it up and have some fun with it. And I think that's going to be. I'm thinking about if it lands on a weekend and it lands when it's beautiful. I think I'm going to let Quimby run the trip.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
Well, it's only a 5-hour drive for me, brother. So sign me up. I'll be there.
Count me in.
Let's rock and roll.
I will be there. Yeah. You just sign me up. Put me in for it now. I mean, look, Grady's going to be off. Everything that's happening this year will not be happening next year. So, I'm not as strapped for time and cash and all of that stuff. Like, I had his graduation, and I've got his graduation from the basic training coming in November. So a little bit limited on what I could do this year, but come next year, none of those things are there. Life kind of goes back to normal for at least a couple of years before Liam does his thing.
Next year is friggin' crazy. I mean, we have the World Cup here in Philadelphia. We have at least 6 or 7 games here in Philly, followed by the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby at the Bank.
Yeah, that's gonna be badass.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot going on. So I'm like,
and I think
brace yourself.
I love the idea of the Home Run Derby at the Bank because I think that the aesthetic view of the Bank in the outfield.
Yeah.
Where these guys hit these home runs, these moonshot monster home runs. It's just cool looking spots out in that outfield for these guys to take aim at. You know what I mean?
There's 2 spots.
Ashburn Alley.
2 spots in particular.
Ashburn Alley.
I've seen enough balls get hit in Ashburn Alley. I'm
Okay.
cool with that. I've never seen anybody ring one off the scoreboard in left field, which I've never seen that. Like, I would love, like, to me, you're lobbing a 60-year-old man is lobbing a 60 mile per hour pitch across the plate. I want to see somebody freaking clobber one. Like, I want Judge to do it. Like, to me, that'd be awesome. And then there's only been one man ever in a game that's gone to the third tank at the Bank in right field. Ryan Howard. He's only one. The only other guy that ever came close. Can you take a guess?
Bryce? No.
No, not Bryce. Not a Philly.
Not Bryce.
Not a Philly.
Bank opened up in 04. Bonds hit it off the facade. He hit the facing of the third deck where the McDonald's sign is, but he didn't get it up there. I'm surprised Schwarber hasn't done it yet with the one that
I was gonna say, dude. Like, you think with all his power, yeah.
I mean, Schwarber clobbered one. That one he hit off of Darvish in Game 1 of the NLCS. I mean, like, I've been to Petco. You haven't done Petco yet, Adam. I know Lou has.
Yeah.
Dude, that is a fucking shot and a half. And then the one that he hit. Now, have you guys done Truist?
I have not.
Yes.
Adam's done it. So when you walk in from the Battery behind the Chop House, he hit one over the Chop House by that entryway 2 years ago.
That's a monstrous home run.
Monstrous home run. Like,
Jeez.
and the fact that he has not gotten a hold of one yet at the Bank still sticks in my crawl. But I still love saying it. It's kind of like Willie Stargell, right? Like when you said the star there in upper right field, the furthest home run ever hit at the vet in the 600 level. Like, it does have that mystique and that aura to it, saying that, man, that was the big piece that did that. You know,
right?
But
Yeah, he's the only one.
I'd like to see somebody get up there.
That's a big fly, dude. I mean, that's way out there.
Big home run blast that I've seen. So Mark McGuire hit a shot to dead center field at the old stadium. That's impressive.
McGuire used to get into him, dude.
The most impressive one that was hit at the old stadium was Andres Galarraga. He put one up the upper deck of the old football stadium.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
Halfway up to the upper deck, which is incredible.
Yes.
And then 2 that I personally didn't witness, but I saw on TV was when I went to Dodger Stadium and then Coors Field, I saw where Stanton knocked one out of Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
One of
Oh,
only
man.
3 players to do so. Bonds and I think Stargell was the other guy, but only 3 players have hit one out of Dodger Stadium. And then in Colorado too, Todd Helton used to have like an ice cream display out there in left field, and he cleared that. So, standing out there and then seeing the distance to home plate of these majestic shots that Stanton hit, that was pretty cool.
So I went to Shea Stadium in 1998 when the Cardinals came in. Everybody knows 98. This is McGuire and Sosa, right?
Oh, yeah.
We showed up early. It was a doubleheader, Cardinals Mets. We show up early. 20,000 people showed up to watch McGuire take back.
Oh my God.
And the son of a bitch comes up, and the first pitch he bunts, and 20,000 people viciously boo. So the night before, and Chris, I'm sure you've gone to Shea. Lou, did you ever make it to
No,
Shea Stadium?
never made it out.
As a Mets fan, I'm disappointed for you.
Yeah.
Below the belt, bro. So, Chris, you remember the Budweiser beer bleachers out in left field, right?
Yes.
Those pine trees that were behind it.
Yeah.
There was a row of pines there. Well, the night before this doubleheader, Piazza had hit one into those pine trees. They measured it at 465 feet. Absolute rocket. McGuire starts hitting batting. Now, it's batting practice. This isn't a live game. When his batting practice home runs were going over that spot, they were still higher than the freaking light towers. I've never seen a ball get hit like that before. Those parking lots that are out beyond that were getting peppered with McGuire batting practice home runs. Just an obscene display of power. The other one that I can remember clearly is I'm a kid. I'm at Fenway Park with my dad and my cousin. They're playing Detroit, and Cecil Fielder's
Cecil
up.
Fielder.
Ooh.
So those of you that have been to Fenway, light tower down the line, light tower in left center field. Cecil gets into one, and this thing is going up at what looked like 8,000 miles an hour. It's still on its way up, and it clanged 3/4 the way up that light tower. He tried to knock it over. It was just, you can tell when somebody gets into one. Somebody hits a home run, the crowd's, he's like, yeah. He hit this thing, and the crowd, all of them, just went. They all just gasped with how hard he hit that ball. That was probably the hardest hit live game that I've ever seen.
I was at a Phillies Mets game in 2005. This was the year before the Mets were like the best team in baseball in 2006. And I was sitting on the scoreboard porch, which is right below the big giant scoreboard there in left field, the 200 level. It's like 242, 243. And the Mets hit 7 home runs that day, which was like a franchise record. And Piazza hit one between like out in the Ashburn Alley where the alley store is. So if you're looking at like from home plate and you're looking out towards left center field, he hit it into Ashburn Alley into left center field. Probably the hardest hit ball I've seen at the bank. And I'll tell you, just pure aesthetics. Probably the coolest home run I've ever seen live and in person. I was at Bedlam at the bank, and I've seen a lot of really cool home runs in my lifetime. I saw Ryan Howard. I probably saw half of Ryan Howard's. But like when I was in St. Louis and Bryce led off the second inning and Miles Mikolas hung a curveball and I was sitting third baseline and I'm third baseline, lower level where it turns in towards the plate. That was my section. Dude, I'll never forget the visual of that shot. It was probably like one of the hardest hit when you talk exit velo, probably one of the hardest hit shots I've ever seen in my life. And it was awesome. And I just remember like everybody in the whole stadium's like, fuck. And me and my wife were like, suck it.
Walk-offs. I've seen my share of walk-offs. I watched
so
Bernie
many.
Williams walk off with a division clincher. Was right at the end of the year. He popped one into the net at old Yankee Stadium. Watched A-Rod walk one off. Watched Jeter walk one off. Was there when Jeter hit his first career grand slam. That was awesome against the Cubs. Place went fucking bananas. Because he had been taking so much shit for never having hit one. And then he pops one. The Bernie one was pretty cool.
I love
it clinched
Bernie.
the division. It clinched the division, right? And just such a, and it's Bernie Williams,
It's
Who
Bernie,
didn't
man.
love Bernie Williams?
Yeah.
It was just a lot of fun.
Bernie was just so smooth. I know he's the guitar player, the musician, but that just fit his personality, man. Just so smooth and even keel. The way he played the outfield, the way he swung the bat, everything was just so cool about Bernie Williams.
Yeah.
And the name is fucking badass.
Yeah.
Baby Bird.
Burn, baby, burn. Yeah.
find me a guy that went from first to third faster than Bernie Williams. He
Chase
would turn
Utley.
that shit on. It would take Bernie an extra strike because Bernie was a bigger guy. But good Lord, man, he'd hit that stride coming around first, boy, and you can forget about it. He was standing on third before you blink an eye.
Yeah, two of the best I ever saw in Phillies pinstripes. I mean, the best is Utley. Second best was Roland. Roland was just he was an unbelievable base runner. I loved it when he played here.
That's a part of Derek Jeter's game that goes a lot unnoticed is his intelligence on the base paths. He was an excellent base runner. Did not make a whole lot of mistakes out there. Jeter
I think it's his birthday today, by the way. I think it's the captain's birthday today, I believe. Right? There you go, Captain Clutch. You got it right. Happy birthday, Jeets. I'm sure he sent somebody with a basket home tonight. Just still doing that.
Wife.
No,
Jeter better not be. Unless he wants to pay a shit ton of alimony.
No, his starting nine is still the most impressive starting nine I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, his reserves, his bench players are better than everybody else's. Are you shitting me? Yeah. That was a special time. That late '90s run was a really special time. And it could have gone sideways. 97, after we had won in 96, we lose in 97 to Cleveland. And then 98 come back, have the huge regular season, and they get down 2-1 to Cleveland again in the postseason. So, I mean, had we not been able to pull that back together and win that, who knows what happens those next few years. Obviously the boss is back around, maybe freaks out and starts making all kinds of radical changes. Who knows? But Chris, you look like you got something on your mind there, brother.
No, I was trying to find it because I saw it earlier on Twitter. It was like Jessica Biel in left field, Jessica Alba in center.
Oh yeah. That's his hit list is special.
What is it? Minka Kelly. Minka Kelly is it's like unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it's just the who's who of
Scarlett Johansson is shortstop. Oh my God.
Mariah Carey wrote a song about him.
Mariah Carey. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, back when she was hot. Yeah.
Right.
I think I named them all. We named them all. So I have to.
It was like the who's who of every dude's Spencer vision, bro. Like that was his hit list, right?
And
he's
not
giving these
one,
girls, it's just
and not one of them ever said a bad word about him.
Never.
Nope.
Never.
Not at one time. Nobody. So the talk with Jeter was that he was always very aware of who he was, what he represented, very private. They compared him that way with that mentality and how he treated himself off the field very much to Joe DiMaggio. DiMaggio, even though he did the thing with Marilyn Monroe, he did not like the spotlight off the field. He wanted very much to be shut out away from it. And so Jeter, that's why you hear these stories about when he would have, parties or whatever at his apartment. There was security at the door with a basket. You checked your cell phone when you came in. Nobody's taking pictures in here. Nobody's doing any of that shit. I don't want this out. This is not for anyone else but us just here having a good time. So none of it surprised me. And he did it the right way. He was a playboy doing his thing in New York for 20 years, or call it 17 of the 20 years. And then when the twilight of his career came down, that's when he settled down. I encourage every professional athlete to do the exact same thing. Don't go get married while you're bouncing around from town to town and you're the toast of every freaking town you go to and there's women throwing themselves at you. You guys, we're all C students, dude. Like, you're going to fail a couple of these fucking tests, right? Don't settle down until that portion of your life is over. And it's time. Now you're in your mid-30s. And the twilight of your career comes around, and it's time for the second phase. Enjoy your youth while you're playing.
Yes.
Don't tie yourself down.
He's just an old ass dad.
He's just an old ass dad.
Yeah.
But he's still Derek. He's still Derek fucking Jeter, dude.
Him and Diaz, and eventually Lou.
I'm working my way up to it.
I mean, I'm 46. My youngest is 12, so it's not like I'm a spring chicken over here.
Yeah, God, Carson will be 13 by the time I'm that age. So at least I'm not too far off.
No, you're right. Lou, on the other hand, When the fuck are you going to get started for crying out loud?
He's practicing. He's still practicing.
I'm still practicing. Oh man, I got my stopwatch. I'm practicing, man. What can I tell you?
Is that going to be a Stanley Cup? No Stanley Cup, baby.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We're going to put him on the spot.
Oh man, I've ripped Diaz for so long, and you're going to be like 5 years older than him when he had his kids.
Yeah,
I hear it.
yeah. I don't know. For me, it was if I wasn't already on my way to that by the time I was 30, I was going to get snipped, and I just wasn't going to do it. And then I moved out here. Yeah, I spent the first 27 years just about of my life a stone's throw from New York City. Weekends spent going to Yankee games, straight to the city, spend the whole weekend in the city running around, never slip one past the goalie. I move out here. I don't know what kind of shit they put in the water out here. Lord. You know, if any guy out there was like, oh, I'd really like to have, come on out to the Midwest. I'm sure you can find someone fertile. I promise. Yeah, good times. All right, well, that's an hour and a half, guys. Chris, what are we looking at from you? Because you got a half game lead up. Well, before play today was a half game lead on the Mets. I think the Mets
were up 1-0 last time I saw.
The Mets won 4-0, and you dropped. So now that flips.
So we're a half game.
I think this is kind of what we talked about last time. Was these two teams were going to kind of, you're going to kind of be punching each other here. What is the next? What does it look like going into the All-Star break? Because that's rapidly approaching.
So we got 3 in Atlanta to finish up this road trip, which I'm not even going to speak on the first 3. I think I've done enough on that. And then we come home. We have 3 against the Padres. Off day next Thursday. And then we have the Reds come to town for 4th of July weekend. And then they have 3 in San Francisco. And then they go to San Diego to wrap up beforehand. So I did San Diego last year. So I knocked that out. So this year, San Francisco now becomes active ballpark number 23 with me losing Oakland, which will be my 27th overall. So I'm excited. I know we've talked about this ballpark at nauseum. It is my white whale. It has been 20 years in the making, 21 years this upcoming August in the making of getting here. I've been at this ballpark. I've walked around it. I've reveled in it. I've been next to McCovey Cove. I've been inside on that outfield wall in right field in that trolley. I was around the Willie Mays statue. Yeah, I can't wait. This one it's going to be special. Getting to this stadium, and I'm 9 rows behind the plate on Monday night. Behind the Phillies dugout. I'm 9 rows behind. So Harper should be back by then. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully the offense doesn't suck big, massive donkey long. And then then we're keeping Tuesday open for sites. We're going to do a lot of things like
Alcatraz.
around the city. We're doing Alcatraz when we first get in. We're doing Alcatraz
when you get there. That's right.
Yeah. So we land around 9:30. I have Alcatraz booked for 12:30. So we get off, we get our bag. The airport's right there in San Fran. So catch an Uber over, drop us off at the hotel. We're staying right next to the Oakland Bay Bridge, right along the bay. So then it's like, I don't know, a mile and a half up to get to the Alcatraz pier. So we're going to do that at 12:30 and then come back, get ready for the game. We're like a mile and a half away from the stadium. So get down there, get some drinks in, get something to eat, check out the sites. And then Tuesday's all the stuff like the Coit Tower and the Golden Gate Bridge, Fisherman's Wharf, In-N-Out Burger. She wants to see the Full House. She wants to ride a trolley. She wants to do all that horse shit. So if we have, I tentatively left Tuesday night open. So if we want to go to the game, we'll go to the game. And then Wednesday afternoon we have tickets. I bought club level seats. We are the last 2 seats in club level right on McCovey Cove.
Nice. Very cool.
right there. So it's going to be some great photo ops, great pictures being taken for that.
And nice two different sight lines from where you'll be sitting too. That's pretty cool. You get a couple different views of the ballpark and everything, surrounding area.
Yeah,
it's good shit. Yeah,
I'm upset with the Phillies. Not for the last 3 days. I was supposed to see Zach Wheeler pitch that Monday night. They switched him and Christopher Sanchez in Houston. So I mean, Christopher Sanchez he's pitched great this year too. But now I'm slated to get Christopher Sanchez on Monday and Jesus Luzardo on Wednesday. Mick Abel would start Tuesday if I went on Tuesday night. So hopefully they situate his tipping pitches. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, when you go to these cities, you want to see, like, my wife's favorite is Ranger Suarez. We're not going to see Ranger out there. I would love to see Wheeler just because it's Zach Wheeler. But, hey, maybe I'll have better luck with the pitching rotation. And listen, the Phillies rotation is the best thing about it, the team. So maybe I'll get Wheeler and, I'll get Ranger and, when I go to Texas in August. So,
hey.
Nice. Garlic Parmesan fries. Definitely.
Is that what it is? Like, I need to know what the things to eat are.
Incredible. And I'll get you a couple more. Before the ball game, if you got a chance, there's a bar called The Stick, named after the old Candlestick ballpark. So they got all kinds of.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's right outside. It's right outside of, like, the home plate entrance right there.
Correct. Right outside. And then right next to it is the Willie Mays Museum. So that's not the ballpark, but right next to that bar. So we'll talk as we get closer, but you got to do things and take the tour if you can, man. It's a great ballpark, and the tour is really awesome. So if you get a chance, knock that out.
I want to. I've been looking at it. I want to rent a kayak, and I want to take it out. I don't want to be out there for a game. I don't need all that. I don't need to be out there on Tuesday night in the Cove. I want to take a kayak into the Cove on, like, Tuesday at some point along the line and just meander about it and just revel in the glory of it.
Absolutely.
I think the pictures would be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
That
would be pretty cool.
And after the ball game, just stick around because there's another show, obviously close to the Bay Bridge.
Homeless people?
Well, close, but
liberals?
Birds. Dude, birds come out of nowhere and just they're all over the ballpark, scavenging for food, but like I've never seen it before. I mean, trust me, it's worth sticking around. You see them start circling around. They must know when the final out's about to be made because the minute the lights start to go down, those birds and people start leaving, birds come out of nowhere, dude. It's crazy.
Seattle's like that. You get invaded by seagulls. It's pretty rough.
Wow,
they come diving down at your fucking hot dogs and shit. Yeah.
Right.
We got to get the boys baseballs for their collector baseballs. We got to get our shot glass.
Shot glasses, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we're normally, like, if it's a city that we really like, we normally get obviously we get the shot glass at the stadium for the Giants. And then we'll get, somewhere along the line, we'll get like a San Francisco one. And, so we have our sports related one and we have our non-sports related one. And we put those shot glasses in our cases and we got to get a Christmas ornament. That's always the thing. Our tree is our adventures. So like you ever come over my house for our Christmas party and you look at my Christmas tree, it's everywhere that we've been together. Me and Rach, or me, Rach and the kids, or whatever. It showcases where we've been and the life that we've traveled. I love it. It's awesome.
That's fantastic.
No, that's good shit, man. That's fantastic. That's we do it with my boys. They get the ice cream helmet, right? Like that's their thing. Yeah. I always grab a shot glass and a magnet. Our fridge is loaded with all kinds of shit. We got a cabinet full of shot glasses, and literally from everywhere we've gone came. Punta Cana, whatever, Nashville. I mean, just everywhere. You know what I mean? On this end with the Yankees, dude, 3 at home against Oakland or Sacramento or whatever the fuck they are now.
ATH.
On the road. Right, ATH. Then we go to Toronto for 4 and the Mets for 3. That's going to be a rough road trip. Toronto's pretty good. Obviously, the Mets. I know you'll be a Yankee fan for those 3 games.
No doubt about
it. And then we come home for 3 against Seattle and 3 against Chicago Cubs, leading into the All-Star break. So when you look at this,
it's a tough stretch.
It's a tough stretch. You got 3 games against the A's, who normally you're like, the fucking A's. But they're a 500 baseball team right now. We just
Are they
got
back to
smacked
500?
around. Yeah, they were. I think coming into play today, they were at 500.
Wow,
Think.
man, have they been hot? No, they're 33 and 50.
Are they? Who the hell was I looking at? Was 40 and 40?
Texas is 40 and 41,
That's it. Okay. That's okay.
and then the Angels are
Angels-
40 and 40.
You got to make hay against the A's, and then the Angels. So that's the rest of that division where I was misreading. But if you don't make hay against the A's, now you're at Toronto for 4. You're at the Mets for 3. You're home for Seattle for 3. You're home for the Cubs for 3. That's a rough fucking stretch. Even though it splits home and away pretty much, it's a really rough stretch. The way this team is with the lineup right now, with the way they're not hitting, I guess would be the better way to put it. I don't know. What is that? 3, 7, 10, 13, 16 games. If I can get 9 of them, I'd probably be pretty happy. If I could take 9 out of those 16, 9 and 7 going into the break, come out of it against Atlanta, I'd still feel pretty good as long as Tampa Bay cools the fuck off.
Yeah.
I think, Lou, you brought up a good point. They're going to end up playing a lot of road games here. That may take its toll on them eventually. But I guess I can hope for that. But the pitching staff, I feel like, has pretty much done its job, except when we get to the extra innings, of course. It's been the offense that's been the problem. Outside of Judge, who they're not pitching to now, which, again, why would you in the first place? Goldschmidt, who was tearing the cover off the ball, he's come back down to earth. Bellinger is up and down. Chisholm might be the best athlete on the team, but he is about as I like to call him consistently inconsistent. Probably the best way to put it.
Chisholm.
Austin Wells, yeah. Austin Wells, again, none of these guys, nobody else in that lineup is really scaring you. I guess is the point. Right?
Volpe.
Look, I think I'm out. I think I'm done with Volpe. His glove or lack thereof in massive moments has driven me. And you play the most important position on the field. If you were a rock solid defensive shortstop, I could deal with your woes at the plate, your streakiness at the plate. The fact that I'm not getting consistency out of either, I think you need to look for another answer. And the Yankees could use a bat at third base. So, you look for that around the trade deadline or sooner. It's not like the Red Sox were going to trade Devers to New York, but
you weren't getting that.
No, God no. It's just, Boston's stupid. They're not that stupid.
Hey, this is Brian Cavill. I'm sorry.
Right. As for more baseball trips this summer, it's not. We're tapped for this year with everything else that's going on. I'm going to try to get what we're going to do, the boys and I, is we're going to try to knock out all of the baseball in Ohio, right? So we've seen the Reds, we've seen the Indians. We're going to go to Dayton and get the Dayton Dragons minor league team. We're going to go to Columbus and get the Clippers. We're going to go to Toledo and get the Mud Hens, which actually is a pretty cool little ballpark, even though the city is an absolute dump. And then there's one outside of Cleveland, the League City Captains or something like that. And then there's also another stop in that attractions passport that's out there too. Lou, I think you guys went there. Is it Heritage Field?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's another stop along the line. You got to get it my stamp too.
If I may, the great part of Heritage Field, a lot of people don't know. DiMaggio's streak was that was the last place he got a hit in the streak. The very next night, for some reason, they were playing at Heritage Field and then also playing at Municipal Stadium. They switched games. And so, his last hit was at Heritage Field. I think Babe Ruth also hit number 400 there. And they got a lot of cool stuff that you can check out. I'm actually going to put you in connection with the guy that gave us a tour, like a private tour. We actually filmed an episode there. So his name is Richard Rodriguez. He's the curator of the museum itself there. So I'll put you in contact with him. And if you want to, I'm sure he'll hook you up, man. It was a really interesting.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The
So
head coach of West Virginia?
No, not that Rich Rodriguez. A different guy.
So that's kind of going to be how we wrap up the baseball stuff for the summer with the boys and I. We are going to Canton the first weekend in August. Eric Allen finally got in, so
There you
we're
go.
going. That's going to happen. Football wise, I am going to be in Dallas, and I'm going to be in Minneapolis. I got asked to come and offered to come work in Dallas, and I wanted to be able to knock off at least one more football stadium this year. I can't get to Green Bay. Chris, San Francisco is your white whale. Lambeau happens to be my fucking Eleanor. It drives me nuts. Every time it's on our schedule, they schedule it on a weekend where I can't go. And this year, it's the Monday night after when Grady will graduate from basic training, and I just can't pull it off. So I'm going to go to Minneapolis instead. Been to Minneapolis, seen the Twins. I'm going to go up there and get U.S. Bank knocked off the list. That will get me to 15 NFL as of right now. And me personally, you guys know I only really count the ones that all three of us have been to. But me personally, I've seen 21 major league ballparks. And now this will be 15 or 16 NFL. So doing pretty good. And now with Grady going off and starting his own life and making his own money, those baseball trips actually start to become easier because it doesn't hurt my fucking wallet as much.
You don't have to pay for 3.
Right.
Pretty soon, a couple of
Plane
years.
tickets.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, I'm
That's
behind
us
you
for
guys
this
at
year.
football stadiums, but yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to. I'm selfishly trying to get both. And we're plugging away. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but we're gonna give it a good try. I am gonna get to all the baseball. That's definitely gonna happen. I'm
Yeah.
2/3 the way there now. There's just no way it doesn't happen. Football, I'm only about halfway there, and I'm 46. So, I mean, it's, I don't know. We'll see. But Lou, 305 Sports Travel.
Yeah. We got 3 trips that we're going to run this year. We're going up to Buffalo. We're not doing a whole setup over there, but we're going to host a tremendous party. They're actually closing down Highmark Stadium this year. They've been there for over 50 years, so be nice to go out with a win, Dolphin win there. We dominated early on in that stadium's history, and then we just haven't had much success lately. So hopefully we're able to win this last win in that stadium. So we'll be there. We'll also be in Atlanta. Got a great layout in Atlanta there. Got a lot of fun things planned, and then we'll be in Charlotte as well. We're not running that trip, but we're going to be co-hosting some events out there, and we'll be in Pittsburgh to finish things up. So looking forward to
Very
a lot
cool.
of fun activities. Yeah.
Atlanta Stadium's pretty nice. It really is. The funniest part is it a Sunday game?
It is a Sunday game. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. So the black hole is Chick-fil-A.
Right. Exactly.
It's actually pretty. You walk by it and laugh because it is pretty fun.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
But the stadium itself, I thought was pretty nice.
I've heard. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Atlanta as far as the city. The food down there is really cool. The aquarium in Atlanta is amazing. The Georgia Aquarium.
Yes.
And then the Coca-Cola factory is right next door, right across the street.
Right.
So it's all right by the park there, and some pretty cool shit down there. But the food when you get in the South, bro, is just oof.
Yeah, been in Atlanta, been went to Turner Field, never been a Truist though. So and then we're excited about our trips, but this is a baseball show, and I was hoping to knock off a Blue Jays game and a Pirates game. Unfortunately, both teams are out of town, and Pirates are out of off season altogether. So just a reason to go back, I guess. We'll scout it this time around. Definitely get to the Roberto Clemente Museum. Who, come on, he's biggest. There's no bigger legend in that town than him. So we'll definitely knock that off the list. I'm sure he can get a stamp, right? Adam, I can get a stamp over
Do
there.
you have the only at the Roberto Clemente?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only one that they'll stamp is this.
Oh, you got to have that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a separate, and it's the same guy but separate program.
Got it.
So I went ahead and I bought this, and I had him backstamp all the places in there that we had already been to. So I've got 9 of them already. And League, Heritage Field is in here. But yeah, they're they don't stamp. You can't stamp just the regular passport. At,
Okay.
at Roberto Clemente. Yeah.
Still want to see the museum. I mean, I've heard great things
Absolutely.
about it. Have you been, Chris? Have you been to the Roberto Clemente Museum or no?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I want to check it out. It should be a good, lot of history in there, and so yeah, I'm excited for that.
Lou, where are you at as far as your
Nice.
stadium counts? Like how many football, how many baseball?
Oh man, I know at baseball, I think I'm at 19. Football, I'd have to go back, man. I know I've been at a bunch of places that have closed down. One of the most famous ones that I've been to was the Metrodome. That's the only stadium that's hosted an All-Star game, a World Series, Super Bowl, and a Final Four. It's the only stadium to host those 4 events. So that was cool. And yeah, no, I'd have to look at my numbers.
Got to get the
19
truest,
active
bro.
or 19 overall?
Yeah, 19 overall. Yeah, I'm still counting Oakland though, because the A's are playing in a minor league park, so I'm still counting Oakland as a play. So I'm at 19. I'll say it that way.
I would tell everybody it's your chase. You can't like me personally. If I don't get back to these places when they open a new ballpark, I'm not going to be heartbroken about it. I got to see that team play its home game in their ballpark. You know, I'm going to go to Citi Field, but only because the boys never got to Shea. Otherwise, I could give a shit. I went to Shea dozens of times as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Fenway again because the boys haven't been there, and plus it's Fenway Park. Like
It's Fenway.
It's Fenway, right? Like, it's like Wrigley. It's the same. It's in that conversation. I would go back to Wrigley. I want to get them back to Pittsburgh. They were both pretty young when we went there. It was a brutally hot day. They do not have a good memory of it. And I would like to get that Roberto Clemente Museum stamped in my attractions passport, and get them back to PNC, maybe with some seats upper level behind home plate, where you really see the entire city and everything like that with the bridges and stuff. That's the place to go.
Yeah. One of the bridges is named after Clemente, and come on, man, how can you not like the guy's story? He literally played the last game of his life, game 162, where he hit number 3,000, and then in the offseason, he perishes in a flight where he's trying to get food to a country that just had an earthquake. So that's why 3,000 to me is extra special, because you tied a guy that was Hall of Fame, all world guy, and he never got another shot at it. His story ended, baseball wise, at number 3,000. And come on, I mean, that's incredible.
Bernie Mac got a second shot.
He did. Wow. Too soon, man. Come on.
Right. My God, dude. I mean, what's next? You want to start talking about Thurman Munson? Are you going to fucking bring something up on Jesus Christ, dude?
Oh, man.
It's a funny movie.
Yeah.
It's
Right. Sure, fucking.
we miscounted his hits. He's got 2,997. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, man.
Oh, man. All right, guys. You want to call it a night here?
Yeah, I have one more thing for you guys. I need you to settle a debate that's going on in this household. We started the show talking about it, so I'm going to end it.
No, you cannot wear a thong to bed, Lou.
No, I cannot. You're right. Jeez, Chris. Damn it. Oh, boy. All right, come on, man. All right. So, all right. So with the Panthers winning their second championship,
I'm proud of all of my friends.
and now 3 trips to the Stanley Cup Final. So lost in 2023, but have won the last 2 here. Ashley's using the D word. No, not that D word. She's using dynasty. I tell her, and I'll tell everybody you'll hear, you need 3. A dynasty is 3 in a 4, 5, 6 year span. It's just 2 is very common. Even 3. You got the Warriors that just did it recently. Michael Jordan did it twice. In hockey, you got the Canadian.
Hockey's, yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, to be considered a dynasty, I think a team of whatever sport needs to win 3 in a certain amount of years to be considered.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why you can't look at the Braves as any kind of dynasty in the 90s like that, because they only won the 1. As dominant as they were in the National League, they didn't get over the hump but just one time, and that was against a team that's basically been cursed for most of its existence in the Cleveland Indians. So that's why the Yankees are the team of the 90s and not the Braves.
Exactly.
It's the truth. I think 3 is the number. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even consider the Heat my own Heat. 2 out of 4. Great, you didn't win a third.
When you guys lost to Dallas, that killed it.
Yeah, that was it. That's why you need that third. So go ahead, Chris. What do you got?
No, I mean, really, the last hockey dynasty was the Blackhawks. I mean, like, since then, you had, like, the Penguins went back-to-back in 16 and 17, and then, now you have back-to-back with this team right here. You had, back-to-back cups with Lightning. Although, to me, if you want to say the state of Florida has a dynasty right now, absolutely. 6 straight cups, 4 of the last 6 wins. But, and even then, I think that first cup with the Lightning was a little cheesy. It was COVID Cup. They had 4 months off. They were able to get Stamkos healthy enough to where he could play, and they were able to get a bunch of their guys back to play for that.
Just like the Lakers winning that title that year where LeBron and AD got all that time off. It's the same comparison.
Yeah. To me, it's 3 and 6. I think 3 and 6 is in that range. The Blackhawks did it 3 and 6 years. You're not going to say that about the Kings. The Kings won 2 out of 3 years, and they played in another Western Conference Finals, and they lost to the Blackhawks. That stretch with the Wings from 97 to 2002, they got 3. I think the Devils wound up winning 3, but that wasn't in the 6-year stretch. They won in 95, 2000, and 2003. So maybe you could kind of say the Devils were 3 and 8. But
they were really good for a very long period of time.
Martin Brodeur, and they had the neutral zone trap. I mean,
fucking.
And in the 80s, you got the Oilers and the Islanders in the 80s. So again, I just think you need that third.
You need 3, dude.
I do. You need 3.
You're right.
Got to be 3.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
even if you don't get it next year, if you get one more over the next 3 years.
Correct.
I would call that a dynasty.
Group, right. Yeah.
Now,
Agreed.
Here's the only caveat. What if let's say, and Lou, I know you're gonna hate this, but if the next 2 seasons they're not even a playoff team, and then they come back 3 years from now and win another cup, what happens then? Still 3 and 6 years, but now you've had a 2-year stretch where you just weren't that good. Is this still a dynasty?
I would consider that. I think I'm with Chris's, it's 6 years, 7, even 7 years, if it's the same core. Because remember, how much does it take a toll? Even imagine they're playing over 100
all
games.
Those extra games.
Right. So if you take a year off to, get the tires back filled, it's what are you going to do about that? Go ahead.
All right. So this is what AI says on Google. Sports dynasty is a team or individual athlete that achieves sustained dominance in their sport over an extended period of time, typically marked by multiple championships and consistent winning seasons. It's characterized by prolonged success and often involves a core group of players and a strong coaching staff. Key characteristics: prolonged success, defined by a sustained period of dominance, not just a single championship run, multiple championships. While the exact number varies, dynasties generally involve winning multiple championships, usually 3 or more.
There you go.
Yeah. I agree. I think 3 is the number, right? You got to
3 is the number.
Which is why I think you also, when you look at some of these players, when you talk about greatest of all time type of thing, and I'm talking about basketball here, and I'm speaking about LeBron James. I don't think you can enter the GOAT conversation unless you've been part of a dynasty. That's my personal opinion. And LeBron, while he's had a couple of different runs, here and made a bunch of finals, tell me when he was part of a dynasty. The Heatles were close, but they lose that title. They lose that championship. The Dallas takes them out of that, right?
And they lost to the Spurs, and they got boat raced in Game 6. They got boat raced.
The Spurs were a dynasty.
Yes. That's a dynasty. Yep. And remember, if not for Ray Allen in Game 6, he would have only won 1 out of 4.
Correct.
So that tells you, how close that would have been. So,
yeah.
I
agree.
If the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year, it's like to go back to back. It's 2 separate head coaches, two different coaches in an 8-9 year span. It doesn't work. It's not a dynasty.
No. It's
Sirianni.
Part. Yeah.
Yes, Sirianni and Hurts would have to go 3 in 4, 5, 6 years. That is a dynasty. Just because if they made it to the Super Bowl this year and they won it, It would have been the 3 of the last 4 with a choke in the middle. But, and they would have went back to back, but it's not a dynasty. What the Chiefs have done, the Chiefs is a dynasty. That's a dynasty.
Yeah. And obviously, Chiefs are a dynasty. The Patriots were a fucking 20-year nightmare. The Niners in the 80s, the
Cowboys
Cowboys in the 90s.
Steelers in the 70s.
Those
in the
are
70s.
Steelers and the Cowboys in the 70s. Those are dynasties. Yeah, what were the Eagles? Look, make a Super Bowl, lose, make a Super Bowl, win. Got to get a couple more with this group.
Yeah.
These guys. Hurts, Sirianni, Brown.
Jalen Carter.
Yep, Jalen Carter. That group has to go and do it. Can't include the Nick Foles one. That's too far removed. It's too far out. All right, fellas. You guys good?
Yeah.
I'm all out of zingers. I'm
all.
I'm ready for bed.
So you done kicking Lou in his dick for the night.
Oh, man.
Hey man, it's just jealousy, Lou. We're jealous of the tan. We're jealous of the cup. We're jealous of the elbow room. We're jealous
Chris
of it
has
all.
it too,
Bro.
man.
Hey! I could not put my Phillies gear on. And if you want to say the Fanatics are behind me, I'll never not have the Fanatics. He's the best mascot in all.
He's the man.
He's the best mascot. It's not close.
It's not even close.
Easy.
It's
Bring back the San Diego Chicken.
Bring back that douchebag group. That's what's in.
Oh my god, dude! I would have died if I saw those assholes there last year when I was in San Diego.
I would kill to have you stand for a picture with that group of fucking jackass.
Oh my god!
I'd have framed that shit and put it right here.
It definitely would have been. It would have been put in the. How do you pronounce that? Is it the Louvar or whatever? Like when people put this in the Louvar or whatever. I don't fucking know. It's the French are assholes.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Before we get too fancy here, guys, let's call it a night.
Sounds good, guys.
We'll try to get back together and do this again sometime after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Let's do it during the All-Star break.
During.
During the All-Star, that's probably a good. That's a big dead spot in sports. So yeah, it's probably a good time.
Maybe the night after the All-Star game, that Wednesday night. Let's
Wednesday night.
Let's lock her in.
Yeah, that works. That would be Wednesday.
And I'll get to talk
Wednesday
all about
16th,
San Fran.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anxious to hear. Yeah. So Wednesday the 16th. All right. You guys good with that?
Let's roll.
Think so? Yeah.
All right. Cool. I know Russ Taylor's been hanging with us. Somebody else has been in this room for a while too. Doesn't tell me who, but I know there's somebody else who's been hanging with us too.
That asshole Mike
Whether
Scott.
you watch, it's David Bell.
I loved it when he got fired last year.
For those of you who watched, so for those of you who took the time to hang with us tonight or watch later, thank you very much. We'll catch you in a couple weeks during the All-Star break. Chris will give us all his rundown of Alcatraz,
Yes.
the Bay Area, the Golden Gate Bridge, and his what sounds to be like two excellent sight lines for a couple of Phillies at Giants games out there. And then Lou,
Oh, dude,
you know,
tons.
you guys just keep doing what you're doing down there, bro. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. As for me, I'll be stuck here mired in good old fucking Cincinnati, Ohio. So until July 16th, folks, this has been the Heart of the Yoder. Thank you for watching. We'll talk again soon.